As hip-hop grows in popularity, so does the generational divide. The fight between old and new has been raging for a long time, and thanks to DDG, it's been resurrected once more. The 2021 hip-hop DX rising star took to Twitter on Wednesday, April 27, with a controversial view on modern-day rappers. The current generation of MCs, according to DDG, is on a different level than their predecessors. Today's rappers are 10 times better than the rappers back in the day. Respectfully, he declared. I respect the older generation of hip-hop, but this generation's creativity on another level for real. Hip-hop had never been a #1 genre until now. When a fan contended that none of his rap colleagues can compare to the late Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac, the Die for Respect rapper backed up his claim. The fan replied, I know I fuck with you a long way, but absolutely not. You can't compare Biggie and Tupac to anyone today. DDG then quote retweeted this fan's tweet by saying, I'm on some serious crap. When was the last time you listened to one of these in your car? Be honest. DDG's tweet drew a flurry of emotional comments from followers, who quickly remind the 24-year-old of the rap legends that came before him, including those from the 1980s and 1990s, as well as more recent decades. Today's rappers do not compare to MF Doom, Quasimodo, Common, GZA, Wu-Tang, Eazy-E, Pac, Biggie, Nas, Mobb Depp, J Dilla, JC, and so on. One fan argued, I do like the new rappers, don't get me wrong, but they just don't compare to what the rappers back in the day brought to the table. Another wrote, I don't know if unpopular opinion or not, but the 2010s was the best decade for hip-hop in my opinion. Mac Miller, Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Kanye, Tyler, etc. made consistently great albums throughout the decade, plus the later half gave us completely new sounds with the SoundCloud era. The controversy heated up even further on DJ Academic's Instagram page, where followers were evenly divided on DDG's statement. Some people agreed with him, while others thought he was just babbling. Here's what the others have to say. The rapping is worse, but the music is better and more versatile, if that makes sense. One person commented, while another wrote, rappers today are inspired by rappers back then, so no, not really. One particular thoughtful comment read, facts, but hip-hop as a whole had grown into something beautiful, to where it feels like you cannot even compare the two eras from how different the sound is. This isn't the first time a budding rapper has received backlash for comments regarding icons like Pac and Biggie. Certain hip-hop experts have chastised Lil Yachty and Lil Xan in previous years for differing viewpoints. When Lil Yachty revealed he couldn't name 5 songs by Biggie and Tupac, he enraged nearly every 90s hip-hop enthusiast. Anderson, a fellow 2016 freshman, Yachty's lack of musical understanding about 2 of the greatest MCs of all time seems to be the target of Pac's post. Don't be cocky in the fact that you don't know anything about hip-hop history. Real artists are students of the game first, wrote Anderson. Yachty's known for his song like One Night and Minnesota, which features hooks but little lyricism, and he's only 19 years old, so he wasn't even alive when Biggie and Pac died. Was Anderson .Paak correct in calling out nameless artists for their lack of knowledge of the hip-hop history? Keep in mind that the 30-year-old is a member of the Aftermath label. Dr. Dre, the 3-decade hip-hop veteran, launched the label. Lil Boat reacted to AP's post as well as the general outrage. Don't be cocky in the fact that you don't know anything about the hip-hop history. Real artists are students of the game first. Another incident was Waka Flocka bans Lil Xan from hip-hop over comments about Tupac. The rapper, born Diego Llanos, had a tense encounter with Hot 97, and now the 21-year-old is facing backlash for remarks he made about Tupac Shakur last month. Xan was kicked out of the culture by Atlanta rhymer Waka Flocka Flame when he put Tupac on 2 out of 9 and dubbed the icon's music boring during an interview with Revolt. Lil Xan banned from hip-hop, tweeted Waka. Pac helped me through childhood. Shit hurt to see the youth disrespect the man that paved the way for all of us, literally. I hope nobody will overlook my accomplishments when I leave. The controversy comes after Xan announced he would no longer be doing interviews. He posted on Twitter, "I love my fans to death, but I can't let these companies keep taking advantage of me and using me to further their shit. It's fucked." As we all know, DDG took off in one game and is making his way in another. The Pontiac native first tasted stardom as a YouTuber, posting his skits and pranks to the streaming video site and racking up millions of views. Once he was solidified in that world, he decided to give music a try, finding success relatively quickly. DDG's 2018 EP, Take Me Serious, was true to its name as the song Givenchy was streamed over 14 million times, along with his one-off Arguments, breaking the 25 million play mark. DDG's next album, Valedictorian, dropped to equal praise. Shortly before its release, he sat down with XXL for the latest episode of Who Am I to discuss things. Growing up in Pontiac was rough for DDG, with violence and danger being a constant. "It's ghetto, people dying, people dropping like flies left and right," he says in reference to his hometown. "It just made me want to do better, stay in school, do different stuff, to keep me out of the streets." DDG also shares that he's lost plenty of friends to death or jail. He became determined to not fall victim to those pitfalls. That right there already makes him so much different from the other rappers of the world, who at times go and embrace the streets in order to get credibility. But not him. DDG thinks back to who he was as a young kid. "I was big on Call of Duty for some reason. That's all I really did. I used to sit in my basement and play the game, literally all day." That wasn't all he was up to though. "I was a ladies' man too," he admits. "I had all the girls. That was really where most of my free time went, girls and video games." During that time, DDG also became a big fan of a certain powerful Queens rapper and entrepreneur. "I really listened to 50 Cent. As a kid, 50 Cent was my favorite person in the world. I used to buy all the G-Unit games, the G-Unit clothes, all that." Later on, he caught onto Drake, making 6 God his main favorite. Nice balance. Not one to hide what YouTube and rap success have brought him, DDG discussed what his favorite purchase so far has been. "I just bought a Rolls-Royce Wraith," he mentions, talking about the car he'd recently displayed on his Instagram account. "I bought a mansion too, actually. I know I sound a little bougie. It feels good to ball. Ballin' indeed." He went from having one very fair and solid career to having 2 and getting enough money to buy very expensive things. And for him to go and idolize someone like 50 Cent in terms of music makes sense because of the impact that 50 Cent had on the world of rap when he arrived, for better or for worse. Here's what he had to say about his love for music. "I was definitely a music lover as a kid. We had a home studio in the crib, so me and my brothers would always go downstairs and play in the studio. I was a class clown, but at the same time, I always did my work, so that's where the good grades came from. I think the good grades came from me being competitive. If I feel like someone's trying to compete with me, I go even harder." DDG can't even remember the last time he took a loss. "Man, I couldn't even tell you," he says. Considering a majority of DDG's life over the last few years has been vividly documented through thousands of YouTube vlogs, posted for over 2 million of his loyal subscribers, it would be easy for anyone to pull up any clip of a perceived mishap with a simple search. Regardless, his stance remains completely firm. "I only say that because the L's I take, I don't really see them as L's." DDG carries the glass half full perspective through every facet of his life, and it stems from his innately unshakable confidence he had ever since he could remember. Equipped with his signature conviction and an enormous fan base he built for himself from the ground up, DDG was able to ink a deal with Epic Records without compromising any of his conditions, including the ability to own his masters, a valuable move not every budding artist can lock in. Again, he has his confidence to thank. "I just knew for sure what I brought to the table already," he says. "I came with everything already, so to not get what I wanted from a label would just be shooting myself in the foot." That's it, that's a wrap. What are your thoughts on DDG's recent comments about today's rappers? What are your thoughts on DDG's music career as well? Let us know by leaving a comment below. We hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.